The Exorcist, Dare and Grace, Chapter 1, The House That Remembered. The night Dare and Grace arrived at the old house, the rain had already begun. Neither of them knew why they had been drawn there. The house stood at the end of a narrow road surrounded by dead trees, an abandoned church, and an iron cemetery gate that moved slowly in the wind. Above the entrance was a faded wooden cross. Grace stared at it. "Dare, we should go." He looked toward the house. "We've come this far." The front door opened by itself. Neither of them touched it. Inside, the air was freezing. Their footsteps echoed through empty rooms as they searched for somewhere to shelter from the storm. Then Grace noticed something on the wall. A photograph. It showed a young couple standing outside the same house. Dare moved closer. The man in the photograph looked exactly like him. Grace stared at the woman. She looked exactly like her. "That's impossible," Grace whispered. Suddenly, somewhere upstairs, a door slammed. They froze. Then came 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. From inside the bedroom. Dare slowly opened the door. Nothing. Only an old bed, a broken mirror, and a small wooden cross lying on the floor. Grace picked it up. The moment she touched it, every light in the house went out. A voice whispered from the darkness, "You came back." Grace dropped the cross. "Who said that?" Dare grabbed her hand. "Run." They raced downstairs, but the front door was gone. In its place was a solid wall. Then the bedroom door upstairs slowly opened again. Something was standing behind it. A pale figure, watching them. The figure smiled, and suddenly every clock in the house began ticking at exactly the same time. 12. Dyer looked at Grace. "We need to find a way out." The figure whispered, "You don't leave the house." The walls seemed to breathe. The candles in the hallway lit themselves. And from somewhere deep beneath the house came the sound of a church bell. One ring, then another, then another. Grace remembered the old church outside. Dyer. The church. They found a hidden staircase beneath the floorboards and followed it into a tunnel leading beneath the cemetery. At the end stood a small chapel. Inside was an old book. Its pages described a possession that had happened decades earlier. But the final page contained something that made Dare's blood run cold. A drawing of him and Grace. Underneath it were 4 words. "They will return tonight." Grace stepped backward. The chapel doors slammed shut. A shadow appeared behind them. The voice returned. "Chapter 1 is finished." The candles went out, and Dare and Grace disappeared into the darkness. Chapter 2. The Road Home. Hours later, Dare and Grace suddenly woke beside their car. The storm had stopped. The church stood silently behind them. Neither could remember how they had escaped. They climbed into the car. Dyer started the engine. Nothing happened. He tried again. The engine roared to life. Grace looked into the rearview mirror. The road behind them was empty. Then she noticed something. A figure was standing beside the church, watching them. Dyer. He looked. There was nobody there. They drove. For 20 minutes, neither spoke. Then the radio switched on by itself. Static filled the car. A voice whispered through the speakers, "Don't look behind you." Grace immediately turned around. Dare shouted, "Grace, don't." She looked anyway. Nothing, just the empty road. Then the radio spoke again. This time, it was Grace's voice. "Dare, I'm still in the house." Grace went completely silent. Dare looked at her. She looked terrified. "That wasn't me," she whispered. The headlights suddenly flickered. Once, twice. Then the road ahead disappeared beneath a thick wall of fog. Dyer slowed the car. Through the fog, they saw a silhouette standing in the middle of the road. A woman, motionless, watching. Dyer stopped. The figure slowly raised its head. Grace grabbed his arm. "Drive." Dyer pressed the accelerator. The car shot forward. The figure vanished. They didn't stop until they reached the old church again. But something was different. The church sign now had 2 names carved into it. Dare Grace. Grace stared at the names. How did it know us? Because he had just noticed something in the reflection of the car window. The pale figure was sitting in the back seat. He turned around. Nothing. Grace looked into the mirror. Her face went pale. The figure was still there, only now it was smiling. The radio crackled one final time. "You never escaped." The car's doors locked themselves. The headlights switched off. The screen goes black. A final title appears. The Exorcist, Chapter 2. The end, Dare and Grace. Some roads lead home, some roads lead back to the beginning. The end.